Oh, and this time we are reading about the Democratic Republicans. The Democratic Republicans were a political party and they favored small federal government. They operated from the 1790s until the late 1820s. The Democratic Republican Party was an American political party founded by Thomas Jefferson and James Madison in the early 1790s that championed republicanism, political equality, and expansionism. The Democratic Republicans became increasingly dominant after the 1800 elections as the opposing Federalist Party collapsed and the party splintered during the famous 1824 presidential election. The Democratic Republican Party originated as a faction in Congress that opposed the centralizing policies of Alexander Hamilton, who served as Secretary of the Treasury under President George Washington. The Democratic Republicans and the opposing Federalist Party each became more cohesive, more put together during Washington's second term, partly as a result of the debate over the Jay Treaty. Though he was defeated by Federalist John Adams in the 1796 presidential election, Thomas Jefferson and his Democratic Republican allies came into power following the 1800 elections. As president, Thomas Jefferson presided over a reduction in the national debt and government spending and completed the Louisiana Purchase with France. James Madison succeeded Thomas Jefferson as president in 1809 and led the country during the largely inconclusive War of 1812 with Britain. After the war, Madison and his congressional allies established the Second Bank of the United States and implemented protective tariffs, marking a move away from the party's earlier emphasis on states' rights and a strict construction of the United States Constitution. The Federalists collapsed after 1815, beginning a period known as the Era of Good Feelings. Lacking an effective opposition, the Democratic Republicans split into groups after the 1824 presidential election. One faction supported President John Quincy Adams, while the other faction backed General Andrew Jackson. Jackson's faction eventually coalesced into the Democratic Party, while supporters of John Quincy Adams became known as the National Republican Party, which itself later merged into the Whig Party. This is important. Democratic Republicans were deeply committed to the principles of republicanism, which they feared were threatened by the supposed monarchical tendencies of the Federalists. During the 1790s, the parties strongly opposed Federalist programs, including the National Bank. After the War of 1812, Madison and many other party leaders came to accept the need for a national bank and federally funded infrastructure projects. In foreign affairs, the party advocated Western expansion and tended to favor France over Britain, though the party's pro French stance faded after Napoleon took power. This is important. The Democratic Republicans were the strongest in the South and the Western frontier, and they were weakest in New England. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope you're doing well.